Welcome back, you all, to another stream today. We're gonna continue from noob to pro. DaVinci Resolve. We're gonna get this done. I have my phone, which is I use my phone to see the chat. We're all chatting with me. That's how I know. Here, ah, and it was still on. But well, we're gonna continue today from noob to pro. Obviously, this is just a work session that I'm sharing with you all. I'm still learning DaVinci Resolve. I made a small clip. It's on my laptop though. So, but look out for if you're watching this for some reason, and you look out for the next vlog. We're gonna head out on a trip. Little spoiler here. We're gonna go to Volcano Bay. We're gonna take the train, metro rail, tri-rail systems, buses. I'm gonna go with a couple friends. It's gonna be a cool vlog. So keep a lookout for that. Hopefully you all come along with me on the journey and have fun, right? And it inspires you to go on adventures and stuff. Just live life. YOLO, you only live however long you live here now, you know? And that's it. Um, so you gotta make the most of it. So I'm just gonna start by typing. Do like 10, 20 minutes, just calmly typing. It's a relaxing way to start my day, my work sessions. I like it. I like it. So we're still only missing, we're actually only at one letter now. Um, and I've been seeing the results of my typing. So my overall just searching and muscle memory has improved quite a bit. And we're done. I think my accuracy is improving, but still want it a little higher. Dismiss. So last speed, 21. So we're close. We're a little bit faster in the queue, which is comes with more accuracy. And that's it. Accuracy 95.5. I think it went from 94. That's pretty good. Speed we overall 36.8. Our score is up there. So our learning rate is 0.1 words per minute per lesson. Overall better. The BWF seems to be struggling. How can the F be the struggle? Literally, your finger should always be on the F. It's because they teach you G first. Like, look, G is here and then F. Why would they teach you GH first and then F, J? Like, J is not even a lot. And it's like one where you always have your finger on it. What? But I'm not the expert in typing. I'm just using the experted website. So
right here. What that's
let me just put these away over here. I was doing something else. So let's open up DaVinci. And I'm not gonna deny that it's been like almost a week since I last edited anything. I think it was last Sunday. So, I mean, not edited anything, learned anything, used the skills. So we're gonna do a quick recap on what we're learned so far. Let's see how much I remember. So first we got the project manager over here. This is the media pool, the DaVinci interface, the metadata. We can add metadata to each clip. Just press on it and then press the three buttons. Metadata. Yeah, right here. You see metadata. Right. So when editing, we're building a story. We take bits and pieces of video clips and put them in an order that makes sense, right? They're right. We go back to the first timeline where I created the clip of them walking. We learned the zoom out, walking. Then we learned that we can sync audio if we have multiple choices of clips. Shortcuts are important. Uh, we got an emotional feel to the story. So focus on people's faces, emotions, music, sound, lack of sound, you know? So the cool effect, two shots in a sequence make more meaning than a single shot by itself. Uh, look for editing breakdown. So after this, we should just build a portfolio and just make edits, make more edits, more experience. We'll get better at it. Okay, so here in the edit page, you can drag clips. Wait, why is that? Is it here? There's only one media viewer. How do I get the second one? Only one media viewer. Oh, what? If I open up the inspector, it only shows me one media view. Cool. Good to know. So we have the clips here. We can set ins and outs and drag only the ins and out that we want from here. We normally in editing we want to lead with the wide shots, play in full screen. Control F to play in full screen, like your edits. I actually never did try that. Control F. Nice. So we got this wide shot. L and K are our visual controls. So I press L and it speeds up the video. K and then J for back. And then you get 2 speed, 1 speed. You can rinse, repeat, do what you need to do. So you can split clips with S, right? We set the keyframe shortcuts up here, SWQW, very good for trimming down clips, especially when you just got them. Uh, Different shot transitions to display different emotions. Cutting on action, our minds accept action that feels continuous. So if there's a movement, you want to cut with that movement so that our mind, even though it's a different view, our mind saw, oh, she was moving and now she's moving, it's just different. It makes sense. So we cut an action. When you're editing, people react. They're looking away at something. What are they looking at? Or if you have multi cameras, like somebody's talking, even if somebody else is talking, you can change to the emotion of the other person and see how they're reacting to what they're saying and back. So you can play with the cuts there and the different what you choose to focus on to display different emotions in your edits. So your edits is basically telling a story. You put clips together and want as much of an emotional feel to keep the audience engaged and involved, right? Then we got these clips, the insert clip, what is that? Overwrite clip, and I think this one's replace clip. So this one is pretty useful. You can also drag here and it shows like uh, that the clips can do the same stuff here. I don't know. Oh, there is commands, F9, F10. Those are a little far away, but it's good that there's commands. Maybe I'll learn them and use them. I did a small edit. It's nothing big. Like it was me making breakfast, so I got to use these edit tools again. But now I'm excited just to use the to keep color grading and stuff because I have no idea how to do that. So I'll be right back. I gotta use the bathroom. Entonces dejaste todo eso ahí abajo, es plástico ahí pegado ahora. Ponga plástico y no puede ponerlo. Okay, I'm back. So now we're talking cutting on action. The right, we got these insert clips. So the other thing is the anchor technique. Right, where we have a base clip. I think we did that here. Right, we have this base clip. We'll do it here of him walking, and then right we cut to her. I think this cut could be a little to the left, but whatever. This is already done. And then but you see the base clip continues. Then we cut to his face. Then it cuts back to the anchor clip. This is moving closer. He touches it, switches to a wide view, and then done. Maybe it was better here. I think this is the clip where I fixed it. Well, more or less. I would have to remove that. Okay, good, whatever. Oh my god. One shot, basically one shot to start, and use other shots to tell the story of that one shot. So we have over trims and stuff. Oh, we have this tool, which is the trim mode, which can be used to move left to right the clip if you need to adequately edit. I have forgotten about this one. Uses the same in and outs, but moves the shot. Grab the blue, and it trims the whole selection. What does grab the blue and it trims the whole selection mean? Oh, so and it extends the other clips if you grab here, which I don't think this one does, right? It does. I'm not pretty sure. I think I was working on the. Let's go back to another timeline. Timeline. Instead of working on those clips, let's work on these clips to, to learn, right? Grab these. Like, how do I stop it from doing this? Like, I don't want it to do this. Like, you see how it cut? Like, he hasn't taught us this. Like, it just deleted the whole clip. Like, because I moved it. Like, if this happens, I would just rather it split the video into two. Like, split this part into two instead of cutting this into two. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe one of you knows. Um, or maybe that's not the thing. Okay. So here in the timeline, I think. Oh yeah. So we got the four clips. This is how it would start. This is how it would end, and this is the previous clip, the end of the previous clip, right? So you could like match it up. Start and start and end the previous clip. And I don't remember what this one was. Oh, last first. first frame, last frame of previous clip, and I guess this is first frame of continuing clip. If I grab this, put it here, and then try to trim this, yeah. So this is the first frame of the next clip, which is pretty cool. TA, then blade 2, which I don't find a point to the blade tool since we have the split tool, right? Oh, the blade tool just that you don't have to move the red line because it cuts, you know? With split tool, you need to do it with the red line. With the Control B, Control B is still on the red line. With the blade tool itself, you could just point specifically. I don't know why I would need this right now. Nothing comes to mind, but you could do that. So we learned about the split, obviously, and ripple trim, which it cuts everything before. What? Why is it not doing it? My QW doesn't work. I need QW. Start to playhead. Oh, so it's not Control Shift. QW. Shift. Control Shift W. Start to playhead. It should work. It says here that it's working. And I'm pressing it, nothing's happening. Oh, it is happening. Oh, I don't know what went on there, guys. But yeah, that works. So let's say you have like here all of that. I don't want it. Cute. You know, and now the clip starts here. And then let's say I only wanted this part. W, and that's big splits there. And then S splits in half. So QWS, super awesome. I remember talking about like I'm not gonna need that. Yeah, I'm gonna need that. That's the most useful stuff ever. Delete through edit. Oh, I can replay it. I forgot about this. You can repair. No? Delete through edit. Oh, right. Delete through edit to repair a clip. Oh, I can move the timeline with the mouse wheel button. Right? Instead of having to, where is it, like drag it like this, I could just, you know, and obviously. Oh, so we could crossfade. So it was control, no, shift, no, control shift. Was it alt? Yeah. I press alt, I can just move the audio. Did it copy the audio? Oh, alt copies the audio. I could just copy the audio with alt. What? Why would I need to do that? Oh, I deleted everything. No, it's control alt, and then I can move a specific, like the whole audio in itself. Even with, you could also just unclip here the bind tool, You can clip it. What is this one? Is this the button I was looking for? I don't know what this one does. The lock with the 2 arrows. Yeah, I don't know what that does. So much to learn still, but yeah. And then you can add transitions. I think the cutscene might be better for transitions overall, because you could just find where they're cuts and then decide, oh, I want this. What shift spacebar? No, that's to search. Maybe just transition clip and then cross iris and it'll brace. Delete. Diamond iris.
Well manicured, so it's not.
Yeah. So you can have the transition tab, which is up here. Media pool. Why is my media looking like that? Yeah. Okay. So transitions. Oh, we got speed control. Control R, if I remember correctly. Yeah, nice. And then we can just make it faster by just shrinking it. No, shrinking it just cuts it. Change speed to 800%.
Out, yeah, out at the.
And this should happen.
Any shot will do.
Oh, and you can edit where you want. So the red probably means normal.
Wow.
Any shot will do.
Whatever. Oh, no, you can still. What if I control alt and then. Can I shift delete only that? No. I want to just delete this without it deleting this. I just want to delete this without deleting this. How do I delete this without deleting this? Oh my goodness. What? Oh, Control X. Control X. And it, okay. So now we know. Control X deletes just a specific clip, cuts it instead of deletes. I guess the computer sees that as something different. Oh, whatever. And now Control R, back to speed change. I think we can edit where we want the speed change to be. No? Right. So somehow remove freeze frame. How do I add freeze frame? Oh, add speed point. So I can add speed point there. Oh, press here. Add speed point. And now you have I have 3 different speed points. Reset to 100. So this one will be at 100. So I can have different like speeds, which is cool. Like, have you ever seen the commercials? Like they have the slow where they want to look and then speed up like the part that nobody wants to watch, but maybe not cut it out. So speed that up and then back slow. Conversely, I could also just cut the clip and then adjust each one separately, right? Because you could just cut or split here, and then just control each different section like that. Control R this one, Control R this one, and then yeah, conversely. Speed controls. Alt F. Oh, Oh, if I have Alt F, it'll find. If I click on the media here and Alt F to find it here. Okay. Stabilize clip. Honestly, it should be stabilize the whole thing. Why doesn't it auto stabilize? How do I stabilize clip? A lot of recapping today instead of doing. This is a lot of information. Ripple cut, control, delete, enable. I do not remember what stabilized clip was, but I remember it being important. And okay, so this stuff, stabilized clip, composite mode, and lens correction. I do not remember where that stuff was, y'all. So then it was, this is what the, yeah, this is the diffusion clip, this is the color correction page, the audio page for life, and then the end, right? Right. Oh no, this is the effects tab. So here we got effects, the close, title. You can add titles, background. The effects tab, you can add clips to the timeline. See what that looks like. Yeah, that. So the effects tab, there's a lot of cool things here. Titles. That's pretty cool though. I'm definitely gonna have to use this sample tech. One, can I favorite stuff? Digital clip, sample, digital glitch, right side. Can I change it too? Nah, I just, oh, this wants to show up. That's cool. So the effects tab has transitions, uh, audio transitions, video transition, titles, generators, generates. I'm pretty sure there's video, generates video. No audio though. Effects, arrow name. How do I move that though? How do I edit, control that? Oh, I can favorite things. Let me see. My favorite this one. Does it go to the top? Oh no, it just shows up here in my favorites. So I can have my favorite stuff here. Nice. Okay, but where are these effects at? You know, like how do I see them? I see that the clip has effects added to it, but not how I edit. Too much. So you can layer a bunch of effects on things and really make something. Like I think I added colored border, but how do I like what? Now, but how do I undo the effects? I can open Fusion page like this. Change clip duration, ripple delete, ripple cut, remove attributes. No. Remove, paste, insert gap. Oh look, it makes a gap inside the video so you can that is useful. Insert gap. And no controls for that. Just paste, insert. Control should be new compound clip, new fusion clip. So I don't know where these effects live though. Maybe in the inspector? Yeah, inspector. Arrow name. Oh, yeah, it was definitely the arrow name. Comic book, binocular. It was in the inspector. See, this is great because I like so if you don't use something, you tend to forget it. That's why we got the notes and we're just reviewing what we know. I think this is important since I spent a week without opening any of this. Plus, it's not like I'm editing, even in the using the edit page, which in my opinion is really important. I really want to learn more about the Fusion page, but there's a whole tutorial on that, and we're gonna do that later. But yeah, so I'm just recapping here the things that I don't know right off the bat. I'm redoing. So we got the transition page, a lot of cool stuff. I don't even now I feel overwhelmed by all the things that I could possibly do, you know? And yeah, click, double click. So we have effects, colored page. Now, and I heard there's add-ons that we can add to DaVinci that give us even more effects. So, I mean, once I'm done with this tutorial, obviously you never really stop growing. So little by little, I'll learn more stuff and more effects and more stuff, especially when I start making my own video and having my own footage. It's all a progress, you know, a process. And we progress through experience and just doing. So double click to add it to the media, selected media, colored border. Yeah. And then I can turn off these effects here. I can also delete them. Yeah. This clip has a bunch of effects. They're off. Right, so you shouldn't be able to see them. Well, you can't even see the clip anymore. And then the transform to zoom in and out, right? Can't even see that one anymore. Yeah, so obviously zoom in and out. Cropping. You can crop? Oh, I can have with the I can have the zoom in instead of just zoomed in, like click zoom in. I can have it zoom in slowly through the same clip. Yo, with the keyframes. Oh my goodness, so much, so much. My head hurts. Nice. I gotta use the bathroom again. I have too much water, and I gotta drink more water. Oh my goodness. So I'm back. Thank you for waiting. Man, I have more water, so I might need to go to the bathroom again, but I just need to drink water, you know? I don't know what to tell you all. So I want to finish my review here in 10 minutes, but I'm in just a frame, amazed all over again with DaVinci and other things that I could possibly do, you know? The effects tab has titles, title generator, generates videos, transition, honeycomb titles, normal titles. You can add text to my video, animate clips over time, right? We can animate clips over time with the keyframes. Settings right next to title can adjust the position of the clips, keyframe location, right? So once we have here, there's two keyframe buttons. This keyframe, which, wow, they have a lot of things here. Speed keyframe, arrow, binocular. Because each little thing, each effect has its own keyframe that can be adjusted. Wow, just wow, you know. So we have the keyframe button here, the media pool. You can close it if you have other media, and we can have keyframe curves to adjust the speed, ease in and out. Right. Then we have the cut page. Oh my goodness. There's not much to say other than that I could sync cut page. You can sync multiple videos. I forgot how to do that. It's like you can edit over here. Can I not just see all the clips all at once? No. All right. Audio. But supposedly, if you have multiple clips that are recorded at the same time, and then you have different angles, here you could sync all four of them, and then watch them back, and then choose, right? Where was it? And choose where you want. I don't remember how to do that at all. It's not something. Yeah, well, I don't remember how to do it. Biggest difference is that it has two timelines. Quickly move to specific. So I'm pretty sure that to sync them together, I just had to highlight them, and then do a link, set project, create new light, duplicate, remove, open sync group. Yeah. So something like that. It will have a sync button, and then sync by audio, save sync, simple stuff. I wrote it here in the notes. Using the same method as before, have an anchor clip. Once you found something that you use the sync bin to see the different perspective. So I forgot how to see the sync clip. I forgot where the sync clip was, y'all. To be honest with you, to see the different perspectives at the same time. So the one thing I don't remember how to do is to see all 4 clips at the same time. Like,
Wait. Okay, so
I would really like to find that where that was. So it is works the same. You have an anchor clip at the bottom, and then you have the scenes where something is happening. So here he was talking, so we could have zoomed in probably in the inspector button, have him zoomed in more on him, or something like that, and then back. So and then maybe we can add a keyframe here, and then add another keyframe of it zoomed in even more. Let's see, would that work? I think it's going backwards though. But it doesn't work. I think I had to here in wherever the keyframe. Where's the keyframe button? Is there no keyframe button in the cut page? What? Keyframes? Probably here. So, and then also keyframe this to be here in the middle. First, find where you want to be, then you keyframe. Keyframes are difficult. I'm not gonna deny that. No, no, look, I got it. I got it. So yeah, we got that done. I still don't know how to see all 4 clips at the same time. Like, what in the world? Was it this? Oh, you can stabilize. Probably stabilizing is here. Stabilize. Speed. The cut page. Normal. Probably cut. I can probably. Auto color. Oh, it froze. I pressed the button. Probably take us a bunch of processing power. Audio. And then OpenFX Fusion Overlay. OpenFX Overlay. Yeah, so other than me not being able to know where all the 4 clips are, uh, definitely have the tools here. Title, transitions, sync bin. Sync bin! Yeah, right here. Sync bin. Yeah, this is why. So for some reason, I really liked it when it was the view was 4 at the same time, but not like this. Like camera 5, just audio.
okay, so hello everybody. Good job on the last 2 days.
So this is camera one when we have here, and then
Very well. We are way ahead. And
so we can add more, like if you wanted to use the space clip. Okay. So now that I know what the sync bin is, we can move on. Media pool, sync bin, transitions. This was different before. Was it because I had it like this? No, it just looks different now. It was before like a square, and now it's side by side, which is fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna go on it. Okay, the workflow. The workflow is media management, editing, effects and graphics, color, and then audio, and then render. Audio render. The Fusion page. Oh my goodness, we still hadn't covered the Fusion page. Just recapping things. I mean, this is good because I'm truly internalizing everything. Now that I'm redoing it, finding the stuff, like you oughta. This is more useful than just having continue blindly through the course. Especially since I really have enjoyed DaVinci and I really want to get good at it. Since we are gonna do those certifications little by little, hopefully, at some point. I don't know. And there's not really a rush. I mean, I would like to rush. I would like to make income from this so I can not have to do my 9 to 5. But I got this down here. So here, let's switch to the Fusion page and continue to just can't switch timelines there. So I have to switch timelines here. Fusion timeline. Yeah, it's obviously a bunch of tools that I couldn't use, right? But there's a bunch of stuff that I can do. So in Fusion, I do remember the basics, right? You get nodes, you have them work together, and right, we can color. We have the tools, and basically you merge, you color correct, you do everything you want to do that you want to add, and then you have it follow. Right, this is done with keyframes. I remember that text. The text is going this way. I would like to reverse that. Text, go. Why is it going from right to left? I want it to go left to right. Maybe somebody knows how to go from right to left. Stylex is set. And we have the merge button, media in, media out. So basically, image comes in here. We do all the effects and media out over here. So basically, we have things we want to do, then we merge with the original images. So right here, this is tracker. Oh, this is me trying to have the tracker. This does absolutely nothing. The tracker does not work on the for free version of DaVinci because it doesn't use the AI tracking, so it doesn't track correctly. At least not what I've experienced so far is that it doesn't. So we have fast noise, but fast noise is this, which is the clouds up in the air. So if I take this out, we lose the clouds. So we have, wait, I want to here. I just created another merge. Color correct. If I add this here with shift, it changes the color, and it obviously from this merge color corrects and then merges again with this background, which is the red circle thing on the girl. The background is this. Obviously, there's a lot more here. I definitely gotta do that other tutorial by Professor Ferris, with just the Fusion page, because he covered it very briefly. Other than explaining how it works, he didn't like and like using the polygons and like you can merge two images on top of another, and maybe like color effects. Like we colored, was it this image? No, it was the first one, right? This one where we made it that nighttime. Yeah. So yeah, you can have two images. You can have the brightness of one dark, right? And then drag here. So this one's light, and we have the brightness correction, really dark, right? And then this one is the original, and then we have the brightness correction of slightly dark for the house, and then we merge the two, right? Really dark in the back, and then really, and then the house stays normal, and then we have the polygon because we want the really dark image, which is this one, only, no, this one, only in the background, right? So we wanted to make it nighttime, and then the polygon only in the back. We have the lighthouse, and then we have color correct, make it, I think, darker. What this one did? Oh, bluish, a tint to it, and then we have this merge, which is the lights. So we have the original image, then we have merging, and then we have these polygons circling the light sources. Right, he used ovals, I used polygons. I just wanted to experiment, obviously do more. So I do understand the concept of having two images. This was simple stuff. I think this is the simple part of Fusion where we get two images. We want one image to be different in somehow than the other image, but we still want it to overlay, and then we overlay the images, right? And then it could be the same thing with fast noise, right? Um, if we come here and then add detail, contrast, we can move it, and that's how we added the fog, right? For fast noise, and then we have the polygon down here, and then I think it was contrast brightness. No, was it blend? Blend, yeah, it was the blend button in the merge. That's something that's confusing, and well, it won't be the more I get used to it, but like where are the specific buttons for things you wanted to do, like maybe it just makes sense. I don't know. And then we have media out, and we went from this image, which is a regular day house, to somehow a nighttime or evening shot, which is dark outside, and the lights still on, and they just arrived, and it's foggy from this. So obviously, this part, even though it's for me, it's difficult to process it all, and but I'll get better at it. I like this part because I can add. This is where the creative aspect comes in, especially if you combine this with like the effects of having subtitles and stuff. I've seen some YouTube videos, and a lot can be done. Yeah. And then the other thing we did in the Fusion page is we cut the alien in and made him one. So we have the alien, we have the transform, alien, transform, so made him smaller. Then we added a dark scale. This is just so it can be darker up here. We added that later. So just because it's this order, and then we have the ship, which is this. We the polygon is a cutout of the cockpit, and then we have the merge, and we merge them together, and then that we send that out. So basically, two images. Um, I don't know if it matters. We could have done it differently, but it worked out like this. So you can also just merge two images like that by cutting polygon, ship, merge. So the ship merges to this image, even though it looks like it's the back, like the ship is the background, it's actually the forefront, and this picture is in front, right? Yeah, or whatever. This was simple too. The biggest thing was when we got to this and we started doing the fancy stuff. Like I still can't get the text to work correctly, and definitely he will come back. But he moved. He moved on pretty quickly from this, and then he left us off finally here in the cup page. It's 12:11. I've been in it for an hour just talking about reviewing stuff. It's been really good for me. Not so much for the people who watch it afterwards. I mean, maybe they just want a quick review of what I learned here on using DaVinci from Professor Ferris. So we have the gain, the lift, gamma, gain. So I'm guessing the gains, if I remember correctly, means for the light areas, then the lift for the shadow, and the gamma for the midtones. We can just change it here, right? Make it darker, and then I want it to be an evening shot. Yeah, nice. And then the offset. Now the whole image is different. I actually like this. This looks cool. Like the an evening shot. This is more pronounced. I somehow made that. So he made us. He gave us a task. We obviously have a different timeline for color. So, no, color timeline, please. I like the idea of different timelines too, because you can have multiple clips and then edit it, and then have. I'm guessing the multiple client timelines will come into play here at the end, because you can have the render with the multiple timelines, or I don't know, something. But I still don't know how to use multiple timelines other than you can have multiple projects going on at the same time through it. Just I gotta quit text you all. Let me just address this. Okay, so now that we're from new to pro back in the color timeline, right? We're actually color correcting this image, which I already did, right? So we made it. I made it bright, like warmer. I wish I could see like the original. Well, I can, right? If I go back to the cut page and then control F, no, Alt F to find the clip, and then can I just drag another clip, original clip here? So el no, it definitely looks different. I don't know if the original looks better. No, mine's looks better, right? This is mine's, and we got this original one here. Like you could definitely see that there's a difference. The whiters here look paler. Um, maybe it's her face change. This one looks paler. I tried making it warmer, but this one seems warmer. The original clip looks warmer. I have no clue what I'm doing with the color page. But it's another cool topic. Obviously, this can make or break the feel, the cinematic feel of your clips. I've been watching. The one thing that I saw is that people have tripods for like a light. Then depending on how they put that light, they get cinematic shots. And I said, I don't have that. I might need a light tripod for like the B-roll of simple breakfast. I don't know, or making coffee, that kind of thing, you know. Um, but yeah, that was cool to see. And then, so we're gonna start from here. I did what I could already with the color page. If you select all the places, everything in the timeline, made, doing color correction, shots, the order matters with color notes. Oh, we also have color notes. I tried to make like, maybe he'll explain this, Professor Ferris, but I wanted like color notes, specifically one for each one of these. So like, so that I could see how it looks with just while I press one, right? But I'm not sure yet how to use the color nodes. I also saw there's so much like once you know like the overall view of how the program works, there's so much like little detail stuff that you can learn and do for your own clips based on your creators. Like I've been like on my YouTube channel seeing so many things that oh, what is he doing? What do you mean color? Like how does he do color? And then now that I'm working on it, it's like, oh, this is what it means. I can go back to it in the future, like learn how to do that, which is pretty cool to me. That I can get more specific there. Oh, Alt S, Alt S. Oh, Alt S, and I would yeah, you know, I should look at my notes more. I mean, that's all I've been doing all of it right now, looking at my notes. But even then, like, wow, there's just so much. I spent an hour just reviewing my content here, and wow, log format. Oh, log format. He did explain the foundation of log format. To unpack log format, you go color management. This is very important. My iPhone is only an iPhone 12, so sadly, I do not have log footage, which hurts. Now that I know about it, hurts a little, you know, because I would love to record log footage. And if you all want to help me, there's a Patreon. Shameless plug right there. But for my iPhone does not, it's only a 12, so I will not be working with log footage. But he did show us that log footage, it takes everything in an image and like grabs every color, but it, like gives it gray. And then here in DaVinci, you can go to the color unpack color management. So color, he said to unpack color management. Yo, I don't remember how to unpack it. So color, ripple, auto color, auto active playhead tracker, resolve light, printer light, color science. Do you all see color science here somewhere? If it isn't, it said timeline, video track. It says color science, active stills, apply active layer, memory, playback. This is why we need better notes. Like I thought I was taking good notes, but the fact that I'm lost here, like where was it? It says I have here timeline settings. Oh, timeline output uncheck use project settings. Yeah, it's beyond me right now. Trim, edit, file, DaVinci Resolve, media pool. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. Timeline. Oh, timeline. Wait, quick export. No, I do not want a quick export. Nodes, nodes, effects, lightbox. I don't. Isn't this lightbox? No, deliver Fairlight. So Lightbox just shows me all the clips. Ah, Graph View. I'm pretty sure it was not there. Timeline. Media pool? No. LT. Oh, LUTs. Maybe you'll go over what this does, but I'm guessing this just auto does whatever this is. Data to video clip. Oh, look at this one. This one just made it brighter. Nice. So there's auto presets. Maybe I'll have an auto preset in the future. It saves me a bunch of time with my editing. Look, this one's warmer. Samsung? What is Samsung? Very dark. Red. Could I add this? Well, if I add this, it would probably be on the second node, right? So yes. So let's say I don't want to see that node. So shift. Does shift not work? No. It's not doesn't work the same way. But I want directly. So yeah. Now the final image doesn't have this, and I can delete. And then Control S for a new node. No? Did a new node not get added? Control S. And I can label it gamma. Let me see. Uh, yeah, you can add labels to the nodes. But how do I unpack log footage? Well, how to unpack? I'm just not. I'm not. I don't use unpack, and this is just a bunch of settings that we already applied here. Oh, but somehow I can't find it again. And I do want to move on, man. It just when I get stuck like this, it's just my brain doesn't let me like until we've solved it. But maybe it says color management. Color management. Is there another place where there's settings? I've learned about LTUs, so definitely learn something just by pressing around and clicking on videos. But I don't know what the color management is. Is it this? No. Oh, you could change how they look. Yo, that's dope. You could just change it like that. Oh, make it greener. Is this one? Purple. Uh, I had a friend. His name is Carl. He told me to study color theory for this. So obviously there's a lot, and then right now there's a lot I want to do and a lot to do. The So I'll just go by what's necessary, learn the basics, and depending on my own projects, I'll learn new stuff, and little by little keep adding to my resume, right? Or my overall editing resume. HDR, HDR grade. Can I still see? Oh, oh, each individual strand of color, and then you move it through here. Max range. Definitely messing around with stuff I shouldn't be messing with that I do not know. Just gonna reset this all. RGB mixer, motion effects, motion blur, source gamma auto, camera ray. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot right there. Whoa, skin, yellow, green. What? So I do not know how to unpack that. So that's a good. I think that's media. Right click on media. Input color space. Color space. Blackmagic Design. Blackmagic Design Video 4. Well, I'm gonna take another break and be right back. Yeah. Welcome back. Well, I'm back. I got a sandwich too on my way there. On my way back here. I still can't find these color timeline settings to unpack log footage. I know I already did it, but for the life of me, I just don't know where it is. So yeah. So last time in the media in the tutorial, he talked about this color management stuff. Oh wait, yeah, let's look. Yo, that's pretty amazing. So he talked about two things. We're just on the color page, right? So he talked about unpacking log footage, and then he talked about the color wheels and the specifics. So since I can't find the timeline settings, I'm gonna start right there from the tutorial and just relearn what we need to learn, right?
Fusion works to being really comfortable and using Fusion amazingly. But hopefully you see the potential of what is possible in the Fusion page of Resolve. Now let's get into the next fancy page, color. To follow along with this part, if you have the media, there should be a folder called color. And what we're going to do is select and shift select all of these color clips, right click on the first one and say create new timeline using selected clips, just like that. We'll call this color timeline and hit create. That's going to put all of these clips here in order. And this is pretty much to simulate if you had an edit where you had all kinds of different clips, they're all put together in a timeline, but now you want to make your colors look good. We'll walk through all the need to know stuff on the color page in this timeline. Again, to bring it into the color page, all you have to do is click into color and it will bring that timeline here into the color page. Very exciting. So a general overview, the color page of Resolve is obviously made for doing color correction. And this is another one of those interfaces that, I mean, there's so much stuff here. It looks like the helm of a spaceship. And you could pretty easily just look at it and be overwhelmed by all the little buttons and panels and everything. And this isn't even all of them. When you switch.
You know what? That is very true. Yet he does such a good job, Professor Ferris here, at explaining it that when I looked at it today, it's just like, oh, this is that. Other than just not being able to find the the log footage stuff, pretty simple. So I highly recommend this tutorial if you all want to learn how to use DaVinci or editing in general, right?
Through, I mean, look at this. It's crazy. Not only can I switch out these panels, but each panel has several different panels. It's crazy. The great news is that you really only need to know a couple of these little panels, and we're going to walk through all of this. And by the end of this section, you're going to be really familiar with the color page. If you've ever used a different editing app before, you might be used to, having a bunch of shots in your timeline, and then you have some kind of effect like a color corrector or a color correction effect, and you drag it onto the shots and change your color. Sort of like you would do with an effect in the edit page. You have all these shots, you drag it to the shot, you click on the shot, and then you have some kind of properties panel or something where you adjust your color for the shot. And that would totally make sense. And there are some color effects in Resolve that sort of work that way. But the idea of the color page in Resolve actually kind of simplifies the color correction process. You have multiple shots in your timeline, and whatever shot you're looking at in the viewer, whatever shot your playhead is over, that's the shot that you're working on, and you're automatically in color mode. You don't have to drag any effects to the shot or anything like that. You're just going to adjust the colors of each clip as you look at them. And so even though this looks like a really complicated interface, the basics of it are actually really simple. We have a viewer up here where we can see the shot that we're working on. We click on whatever shot we want. Each one of these thumbnails represents a single shot in our timeline. And so if we want to adjust the shot of our actor here, we just click on his face and we can play this back and even loop it like this. So we have that shot. And as long as we're looking at it here in the viewer, we can mess with our color controls and we're going to change the colors of that shot and that shot only. If we want to adjust another shot, we can switch to that shot and now we're adjusting that shot only. You can really think of this in a couple main sections. We have our viewer up here. we have a way to select our shots, and then we have all of the color controls. So this actually is kind of like the inspector sort of for whatever shot we want to do our color on. Each of these little panels down here is called a color palette, and we use the color palettes to adjust the color on whatever shot we're working on. We also have a graph up here, and this is also a node graph, although the nodes in the color page are slightly more simple. They're the same in that they're little boxes and they connect to each other, and one box comes after another box, and the nodes flow in order. So if I were to, in this first node, make this black and white, and then in the second node, make it pink, in the third node, we're starting with a pinkish purple image. If I were to do this the other way and make this really pink and then turn it black and white, we have a black and white image because the order matters. The big difference with these nodes compared to the Fusion nodes is that while Fusion nodes really only have one job, and if you want to do something different, you have to use a different kind of node, each color node is really like a group of corrections. So this first node, I can do a bunch of stuff down here in my color palettes, and it all lives in this one node. So I could make a curve like this, I could turn it green, I could mess with all kinds of crazy stuff here, and this all lives in this one node. If I right click and say add node, add serial, that's going to make another node in a series after this node. And so I'm starting with the image that this node gave me. So if I desaturate it, and then maybe I add a little bit more contrast, then that correction is going to happen after this first correction. I can click on the number of the node to turn it off and on. And so I can quickly see what my image looks like with or without certain corrections. That's a really nice way to work. And so all of the corrections and all of the work that I'm doing down here lives in a node of some kind. And we can have as many nodes as we want, and it's really up to us to figure out how we want to group those corrections. For instance, some people like to adjust the brightness in the first node, and I can hit Alt-S to add another node here. And maybe in this second one, they like to adjust the contrast. Alt-S. Maybe in this third one, they want to adjust the temperature or the tint or whatever and make something warmer or darker. And even though you could do all of this in one node, it's nice to split it up into 3 different parts so that you can see what it looks like without the exposure or without the contrast or without the warmness. You can right click and select node label to rename this. So this could be warm, this could be contrast, and this could be exposure. And you can kind of split this up into different jobs. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It's really up to you to stay organized and to do things how you want. You can always reset a clip's color by right-clicking in the empty space and saying reset all grades and nodes. That's going to reset everything. And when a clip doesn't have any color adjustments on it, its number is gray. As soon as we touch something, its number turns rainbow. That's how we know that we've changed some kind of color in this clip. So it's really easy to see the clips that you haven't changed and the clips that you have. So the color page, just like the other pages, uses the edit timeline. So this is the same timeline from our edit page. It's our current timeline that we have up. And any color that we do in the color page happens by looking at the image that we want to adjust, which automatically selects it down.
Be right back. Just had a good idea. registration. Registration. The title. The title. Proof of title. Not right. For registration. Okay, I'm back. You can continue.
Down here on our thumbnail timeline, we can do any kind of adjustments we want down here with the color palettes. All of those adjustments live in the nodes. And then whatever our image looks like here in the color page, it will also look that way in the edit page. Again, without any kind of round tripping or rendering or converting things or anything like that. So the idea is that we can quickly go through our entire edit and we can make all the colors look exactly how we want, make everything look really good. And that all lives on our timeline, and we can export our edit with our color applied. Now we're going to get into the major color palettes down here, the stuff that you really need to know here in just a minute. But first we got to build a little bit of foundation here. We got to talk about it, color management. Let's take a look at this shot here. I'll just bring this up full screen. And there's a couple things to notice about this shot. This was shot on a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. If you don't know what the heck that camera is or you don't care, it's no big deal. But the way this camera shoots, and much like a lot of professional cameras these days, this shoots in a log format. Now, what the heck does that mean? Log is basically a way for a camera to capture more colors and more ranges of brightness by kind of desaturating and decontrasting the image. There's a lot of technical mumbo jumbo here that I'll cover in another video at some point, but basically what happens is to get the very most data packed into the video signal, what the camera does is it makes the blacks not as black, it makes the whites not as white, and it makes the colors not as colorful. And we end up with this kind of gray, nasty looking image. And so this image has a lot of potential. It could look really good, but right now it doesn't look very good. It's sort of like if you're going camping and you buy the world's greatest tent. It comes in a box and the tent is all rolled up in a bag and it's all kind of crushed in. It could be the best tent in the world, but right now it kind of looks like a box with a bunch of fabric stuffed in it. So in order to actually go camping and have a good time, you have to take that tent out of the box and spread it out and based on the instructions, set up the tent so that it looks right. That's kind of the same thing that we need to do with this image. All the information that the camera saw is kind of crushed down into this gray, nasty looking image. And what we need to do is follow the right instructions from the camera to unpack this image and make it look nice again. That process is called color management. It's pretty much for any kind of image format that isn't Rec 709. What does Rec 709 mean? Rec 709 is the color space, the kind of image colors that look good on your screen. So for instance, this video that you're watching right here is in Rec 709. My skin is saturated, there's good contrast and everything like that.
See these changes? Notice.
Okay, what is Rec 709? That's important.
Image colors this image and make it look nice again is kind of crushed down into this gray, nasty looking image. And what we need to do is follow the right instructions from the camera to unpack this image and make it look nice again. That process is called color management. It's pretty much for any kind of image format that isn't Rec 709. What does Rec 709 mean? Rec 709 is the color space, the kind of image colors that look good on your screen. So for instance, this video that you're watching right here is in Rec 709. My skin is saturated, there's good contrast and everything like that, but without any color management, it looks a little bit more like this, which is kind of desaturated, the colors aren't as bright, and so there needs to be this step. Takes our image from gray, nasty looking to actually looking good. And so this image right now is Rec 709 and it doesn't need any color management. It doesn't need to be changed into a format that looks good on your screen. It already looks good. Whereas this footage doesn't look good out of the box, we need to convert it. Now, what some people will do and what has been done for a long time is somebody will look at this shot and say, you know, I know what this shot needs. It needs a little bit more contrast and it needs a little bit of saturation. If I add that to this image, then that's going to look really good. And so they might use some color tools. I'm just going to kind of do this quickly because we're going to get into these tools here in just a second. And they'll up some contrast and they'll up some saturation And so they've taken this image that looks gray and nasty and made it look good on the screen. But there's one important part that we missed here, and that is we didn't follow the instructions. So this is like taking our tent that's all packed up and then just kind of spreading it out and trying to put it together just willy-nilly. It might work and it might be a good tent, but a couple things are going to happen is one, it's probably not going to be exactly right, and two, it's going to take a lot of time. And also, I'm sort of just guessing how bright things should be. I'm just kind of looking on my screen and saying, oh yeah, okay, this white should be about that white, and this black should be about that black, and these colors should be about that bright. And if I'm being honest, I don't really have any idea of if they're supposed to be that bright, if this wall is supposed to be bright white or not. I can guess, but I'm not really gonna know. And so basically, I'm taking a bunch of time to kind of guess how the colors should look. And so what we do instead of manually color correcting this is we use color management. Color management takes the instructions from the camera that recorded this image and made it look gray. And it kind of reverses those instructions to sort of unpack that tent and set it up perfectly so that it looks exactly how it was intended to look. So how the heck does that work? Well, we kind of touched on this earlier in the fusion portion of this video, but what we got to do is go to our media pool and let's right click on our color timeline and go to timelines, timeline settings. I'm going to uncheck use project setting.
This is the important, where did he press it?
Was intended to look.
Oh.
So how the heck does that work? Well, we kind of touched on this earlier in the fusion portion of this video, but what we got to do is go to our media pool and let's right click on our color.
Okay. Control color timeline settings in media pool. In media pool.
Timeline and go to timelines, timeline settings. I'm going to uncheck use project settings and go over to color. For this color science, the default color science, which is
okay, and then whoa, I was not gonna find that. I did not remember that this is where you had to press. So there in media pool, color timeline settings. So let's click right click and timelines, timeline settings. Yeah, timeline settings. That's why you had to make a whole timeline for this. So if that makes sense of why you need more than one timeline, because you don't want to be doing, if you have multiple clips, you don't want to be doing this for every single clip. But at the same time, if you have multiple clips and multiple stuff, you don't want to be, and you don't specifically want to edit the whole clip, movie, edit, scene, I don't know, whatever. And at the same time, you don't want to do that. You want to be able to group it. So in the media pool, color timeline settings, uncheck use project settings. So this was checked, uncheck it, and then you go through all of that, which I do have the notes for this stuff on how to do it. It just, I forgot that it was here. So color timeline settings is just timeline settings. Timeline settings. So right now it's called color timeline because this is called color, right? With the footage we're working with because it's specifically for this color, but it's timeline settings and then timeline settings. Timeline settings. And then we have all of the other stuff that he showed that he's going to show us now again. But I already did it, so I'm not going to do it again.
Resolve thinks about colors is called DaVinci YRGB. What that basically means is that it's not going to mess with your colors in any way. All of it's going to be manual. Anything that you do is going to be manual, adjusting sliders and buttons and things like that. So instead of that, we're going to switch this from DaVinci YRGB to DaVinci YRGB Color Managed. What that's going to do is do its best to look up the instructions that cameras use to make those log images, and it's going to apply kind of reverse math to those instructions to make the images look good. Now, if you're not that into this, you can absolutely just say DaVinci YRGB Color Managed.
Sorry, I noticed that for whatever reason my oh clipping in from the background. See if it's fixed. Yeah, looks good. Hopefully I didn't mess too much with the.
And then hit OK. What's going to actually be slightly better is if you go to DaVinci RGB Color Manage, uncheck Automatic Color Management. Right here where it says Color Processing Mode, switch this to HDR DaVinci Wide Gamut Intermediate. This is going to basically do the same thing as Automatic Color Management. It's just going to be a little higher quality. If you have questions about that, if you want me to dive into it, let me know. But we can switch it to this. All you have to do is make your settings look like this and then hit OK. Now, nothing is going to happen by default. All we've done is just told Resolve, hey, we're going to use some color management. And it said, okay, these images still look gray and washed out because we haven't told Resolve how we shot these images. We haven't told it what camera we used. So what we can do is go up to our media pool and we can shift select all of our images that are from the same camera. And I can right click on any of them and go down to input color space. This is where we tell it what camera we used. So there are a whole list of different cameras. If you're shooting on an iPhone like a 15 or 16 Pro, something like that, you can select Apple Log. There's Blackmagic Design cameras, there's Canon cameras, Nikon, Leica, Samsung, Sony, all kinds of different cameras here. This was shot on a Blackmagic Design camera. We shot this on Blackmagic Design Pocket 6K, and the color science was Film Gen 4. Now, how the heck do I know that? Well, we wrote it down when we shot it. Odds are, if you have a professional camera of some kind, there's a way to look up the color science. You can Google, how do I look up the color science for whatever your camera is? It's usually in your menus under picture styles or something like that. And chances are, if you have a professional camera, you probably bought it for that reason anyway. So however you shot this footage, that's what you tag this as. If you don't know how you shot the footage, you should go and try and figure it out. Because the only way to do this the right way is to actually know. All right? Blackmagic Design, Pocket 6K Film Gen 4, and look what happens when I click this. Boom. Now we have footage that looks correct. So this has good contrast, good saturation. The images don't look perfect. We can still make them look better. There's still some style we want to add, but it doesn't look halfway black and white like it did. This actually looks as scientifically close as it can possibly be to how the colors looked in real life when we shot this footage. And you'll notice that I didn't tweak any sliders, I didn't move anything up and down, I didn't change anything around. All I did was enable color management and then go to my footage and tell Resolve what color science I used. Blackmagic Design Pocket 6K Film Gen 4. And that gives us a great starting point for our color correction. It really kind of gives us the best of both worlds. We have all this information that we packed in when we recorded the footage, and we're unpacking it scientifically so that we can have the most information and work in the highest quality possible when it comes to adjusting our colors. Color management is just a massively huge topic, but it's honestly not that much more complicated than this. In Resolve 20, they've made color management a lot easier. You just enable it in your timeline settings under color, make sure you have these settings. Any footage that you have that's log, you right click, input color space, and select the color space that you used. If you don't know the color space, or it's footage that wasn't shot in log, then you can just set your input color space to same as timeline or project Rexoto 9, and it's not really gonna do any tweaks to your colors. It's just gonna try and leave them alone. But do yourself a favor and don't skip this step. Color management is essential for getting good color grades. It gives you a higher quality image at the end, and it saves you a bunch of time because I don't have to go through and make all of these look normal before I even start thinking about how to make them look really great. I can just start with a normal image and be on my way. So now that we have our color management set up and everything is ready for us, let's jump into what the heck we do in the color page. Let's just pick a shot, maybe this shot number 8 here, and let's just have a look at how we would adjust an image. Just so we have a little bit more room, I'm going to close my clips and my timeline panels just so we have some room here. Maybe even close my effects. Sure, I'll even zoom in and crop this a little bit. And let's talk about how we would actually adjust an image. Again, because we're looking at this image in our viewer, that's the image that we're going to be adjusting with the color palette, all of the windows that live down here. And there are a lot of different color palettes. And look at this, we can really just go through a whole bunch of these things. And the good news is that you don't need to know all of them. Really, you only need to know a couple to do most of the work that you need to do here in color. And the one we're going to start with is right here, this lower left panel called the primaries. And I'm actually going to make sure that I'm on this little button right here. Up here, this should say primaries color wheels.
Does anybody else feel bothered by how the audio has changed? Now his like lower voice. Before his voice sounded lower, now it sounds higher pitched. What?
That's the one. By the way, if you don't have
Whatever.
three
Whatever.
panels here, like 1, 2, 3, and it's 2 panels or even 1, and maybe these little icons are squished together, don't worry about it. You have the same panels. Almost all of these panels are in the free version as well. Again, if something is just in the paid version, I'm going to tell you. But sometimes what it will do is squish 1 or 2 of these panels together for different resolutions on your screen. So if you have your scaling or your resolution set to something different than mine, it might not quite look like mine, but you should have the same panel. So this primary color wheels palette, this I'd say is where you do most of the work when you're adjusting your colors. And even though it looks like there are a lot of controls, there's really only 3 kind of main controls down here. One is the color wheel. The other is this little slider here. And the other kind of control are these little number boxes. And if you've never used anything like this before, I want you to do me a favor and just follow along with me. Open up this image and grab the center of this color wheel and just push it around. Just grab it and drag it. And you can see as you drag your mouse around, it's going to move that little dot in the middle of the wheel away from the center. And the farther it gets away from that center, the more color it's going to push into your image. And the direction that it pushes is going to be the hue, the color that is pushed into the image. And so if I want to make this look very blue, I take this and move this down to the lower right a lot. And that makes this very blue. And so that's like a third of what you need to know as far as actual controls down here in the primaries. The second one, this little slider, this is called the master wheel. And if you grab the master wheel and you move your mouse to the right or to the left, that makes things brighter to the right or darker to the left. You can also mouse over this and scroll with your scroll wheel, adjust that. And so just with these 2 controls, we can adjust the tint of the image as well as the brightness. And this color wheel, master wheel combo, this is just duplicated 3 more times. And so it's the same basic kind of control, but why is this split up into 4 parts? Well, what's happening here is if you move the offset, that's going to adjust the colors of the entire image. Same thing for the offset master wheel. The brightness is going to go up or down for the entire image. But lift, gamma, and gain splits the image up into kind of the darker part, the midtones, and the brighter parts. And so which one you grab depends on what you want to adjust in the image. And so if I want the brighter parts to be more yellow, I select the gain because that's the brighter parts, and I push this a little bit more towards yellow. Now, this is going to make the entire image a little bit more yellow, but it's going to be strongest in the bright parts. So you can see how it's really yellow right here and in here in the brighter parts. And the parts that are black are maybe just a little yellow, but not super yellow like these brights. If I were to do the same thing, take the lift, which is the darkest parts, and push those towards yellow, we'll see we're starting to really tint the darker parts of the image, but the brighter parts right here stay white. That's because this is strongest in the darker parts of the image. And then as you might imagine, the gamma, these are the midtones, and this is going to be strongest in the medium brightness kind of parts of the image. So depending on what you're going for here, you might choose to adjust the offset, lift, gamma, or gain of your image and adjust the color or the brightness of that part. So for instance, if I want to make the bright parts brighter, I can go to the gain and take this master wheel and drag it to the right, and that's going to make the brighter parts brighter. The darker parts are pretty much going to stay kind of where they are. If I want to make the darker parts darker, I can go to lift and take that master wheel and take it to the left, and that's going to make the darker parts darker. And I can go really, really crazy on this, and that's going to darken the darker parts, but look, the bright parts stay the same. So if I want to do something like give this image more contrast, one thing I can do is take the bright parts and push them to the right to brighten that up, and the dark parts and push it to the left. That's going to give this more contrast. And again, all of these adjustments, anything that I do down here lives in this node. So I could turn this node off and on to see what's happening. So I'm just upping that contrast by pushing the gain up and the lift down in their master wheels. If I want to reset anything that's happening in the primaries, I can click this little reset button. I can also right click on this node and say reset node grade, that will reset anything that is done in this node. If I want to boost up the brightness of kind of medium tones right here, I can take the gamma and push that up. That's going to leave the bright parts about where they are and the dark parts about where they are and push up the midtones. So what we've gone over here pretty much covers all of this panel. These little numbers, these little controls here, these are called the primary controls. And the primary controls are other kind of little specific things about the image. So for instance, there is a contrast control. So this is another way that I can put some contrast into the image. I can take this contrast and drag it to the right. And that again is going to make the darker parts dark and the brighter parts brighter. The pivot adjusts kind of the split between what it thinks is dark versus light. So if I push this pivot to the left, it's going to think more things are bright. If I push it to the right, it's going to think more things are dark. And so I can use this contrast and pivot to dial in the contrast of my image to be exactly how I want. And that might be a little bit more easy than pushing up the gain and pushing down the lift. We also have temperature and tint, which is an easy way to adjust something like white balance. Or if I want this whole thing to feel a little bit more cool, I can take the temperature and just grab that and push that to the left, and now kind of a blue tone. And I can balance it between green and magenta like this. I can warm it up by bringing the temperature to the right, and I can double click on any of these to reset them. Down below, I have some more controls. Shadows are the darker midtones of the image. Highlights are the brighter midtones of the image. So it's almost like you have a master wheel kind of between the lift and the gamma and gain. That's what goes right here. We have the saturation of the whole image. So that's how strong the colors are. If I take this and drag it all the way to the right, we have very punchy colors. Hue is what actual color things are. Pretty rarely use that unless you're trying to actually change the color of something. Color boost is like saturation, except for it targets the things that are less saturated. And so if you want to saturate the things that are less saturated, you could push up the color boost a little bit. And there are a few other buttons and sliders here that you can learn at some point, but these are the main ones. Lift, gamma gain, offset, saturation, temp, tint, contrast, color boost. Those are the big ones. And the cool thing is that just understanding this part of this panel, you can do so much. You can really make your colors look good for your movie. I mean, this is all you need. This combined with color management, there's no reason why you can't correct your shots and make them look really nice. So here's what I want you to do right now. Find this clip and I want you to play around with the primaries. Make this shot look as good as you can just using the primaries palette. So one thing that I might do is just push a little bit of contrast in here. I might maybe push up the offset a little bit. Maybe I'll take the temperature.
Last time we also did this. We edited that. So now we know. Okay, the important stuff is we know that select control shift select all, right? And then timeline, it was what color scene. Input color space, input color space, input color space. And if we're using log footage, what camera we record, it literally has everything from Samsung to iPhone, somewhere around here. iPhone, Apple, Apple log 2. So that's how we do that. And then timeline settings for the unpacking the log footage. We learned that. We learned how this worked. Basically, today has been a full recap of everything we've done in every video up to now. And I know seems like a little like redundant that I spent an hour and a half. How long I've been streaming? Wow, 2 hours and 20 minutes just here recapping what we learned. But yeah, it's been a lot, and that's why you shouldn't spend more than a week. And even then, it's like further ingrains this information in me. So right now, I'm gonna do the same thing as last time. I'm gonna finish editing this image, and I sadly gotta go. I gotta exercise and then do some spiritual activities. I gotta go preach. So I'm back later tonight, and we'll continue with new content now that we reviewed everything. Great. So let's reset everything. I think everything is reset. And just do this. So down, up, down, this way, That's not the best. I truly have no idea what I'm actually supposed to be doing. But I saw him do this. It depends on the mood. Do I want a darker mood? I mean, they're obviously talking about negative things because they're figuring out the alien. So making it a warm scene. So maybe I do want like a darker shade like that. So temperature instead of warmer, when a colder, and then contrast. Yeah. What about the pivot? Uh, this one gives the skin a good color, which is good. But you make it darker, this grays became grayer. And then the gain, that's the gain is for the lights to be lighter, right? So you want it dark, moody. And then the lift is the shadows to be shadowy. And then the gamma is the center. So yeah, double click here. Wait, it's not working. That's the original, and this is my edit. Original super warm, my edit moody. What do you all think? I like it. Wow. Now that I look at one to the other, but I was supposed to be able to double click. What? I was supposed to be able to double click. Okay, so that's the original. So maybe how do I relabel? Reset. No label or original. Original, and well, I had named that one gamma, but so now there should be a path. Yeah. Let me see if now it turns off. No, it still doesn't turn off. Turn off. No, it just doesn't turn off. I want it to turn off. What if I shift? No. Why doesn't these nodes work the same as the Fusion page nodes? Like, come on, there's just nodes. They should work the same. I should be able to press shift and move them. Whatever. I can disconnect and connect. So that's my edit. That's my feel. That's how we're gonna do it. That's how I'm gonna leave it. And I'll be back. I'll be back later. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Oh, you're talking. Hope you have a great rest of your. Oh, was this in the way the whole time? Oh no, it's because my pure talking scene is bigger. Let's clip this a little. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. So I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching. If you have watched, and we're just gonna be back later and continue with the color management. We already got all of this back in my brain. I'm ready to continue learning. took a break there, had a hard week, but I'm feeling motivated and disciplined to continue, and that's what matters. Not that you fall off, but that you get back up. Okay, see you all later.